A woman in Georgia walked into a Social Security field office on her 62nd birthday, sat down across from a claims representative, and filed for her benefits. Her name was Eleanor. She had been a widow for almost 2 years. Her husband, Frank, had been a regional sales manager for a flooring company in Atlanta, and he had earned a solid living for 38 years before a heart attack took him at 67. Eleanor had worked too, 29 years as a registered nurse at a hospital in Marietta. She had her own earnings record. She had Frank's earnings record as a widow. And on that morning, the claims representative asked her one question and one question only. He asked her if she wanted to file for benefits. She said yes. He processed the claim. Eleanor walked out with a monthly check of $1,540. What nobody told her, what the representative did not explain, what her financial advisor had never raised in 15 years of annual reviews, what Frank's pension administrator never mentioned in any of the paperwork, is that she had just made a decision that would cost her $185,000 over the rest of her life. And the mistake she made with the best intentions in the world is the same mistake hundreds of thousands of widows and widowers are making right now, today, in field offices across the country. Here is what happened to Eleanor, and here is exactly how you make sure it never happens to you or to anyone in your family. This video is for educational purposes only and is not tax or financial advice. Consult a qualified professional before making any decisions about your specific situation. My name is Paul Merrick, and this is Don't Die Broke. I spent more than 20 years as a certified financial planner watching good people make avoidable mistakes that cost them everything they worked for. Every week on this channel, I break down the tax rules, the financial traps, and the strategies that protect retirees from the things nobody else is explaining. If that sounds like something you need, hit the subscribe button right now and turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Let me explain what Eleanor did not understand, because once you see it, you cannot unsee it. When you are a widow or widower in the eyes of the Social Security Administration, you are not just a retiree. You are a retiree with two completely separate benefits available to you. You have your own worker benefit, the one based on your own earnings history over your own career, and you have the survivor benefit, which is based on what your deceased spouse earned. These are two distinct checks, two distinct filing decisions, two distinct timelines. And here is the part that almost nobody knows. When you are claiming on a living spouse, there is a rule called deemed filing. Deemed filing means that when you file for one benefit, you are deemed to have filed for both, and the agency pays you whichever is higher. You cannot pick, you cannot choose, you cannot strategize. But deemed filing does not apply to survivor benefits. It never has. Congress wrote the rule that way. So when your spouse has died, you have something a married couple does not have. You have the legal right to file for one benefit now and let the other one keep growing, then switch later. You can take the survivor benefit at 60 and let your own benefit grow until 70. Or you can take your own benefit at 62 and let the survivor benefit max out at your full retirement age. The math is different for every household, but the optionality is real, and it is worth tens of thousands of dollars to almost every widow or widower who knows about it. Let me put numbers on this so you understand the stakes. Scenario 1. Take Eleanor again. Eleanor's own benefit at full retirement age, which for her is 67, would be $2,400 a month. Frank's benefit at the time of his death was $3,200 a month. As his widow, Eleanor's survivor benefit, if she waits until her own full retirement age to claim it, is the full $3,200 a month. Now here is the strategy nobody walked her through. Eleanor could have filed for her own reduced worker benefit at 62, taken roughly $1,700 a month for 5 years while her survivor benefit kept building, and then, at her full retirement age, switched to the survivor benefit at $3,200. Or she could have done the reverse. She could have filed for the survivor benefit at 60, accepted the early claim reduction down to roughly $2,300 a month, taken that check for 10 years while her own benefit kept growing with delayed retirement credits, and then at 70 switched to her own maxed out benefit at roughly $2,976 a month. In either path, she ends up at age 70 with a much larger lifetime check than the $1,540 she walked out of that field office with. Run that delta over a normal female life expectancy of 86, and the difference between what Eleanor is on track to collect and what she could have collected is approximately $185,000. Same widow, same earnings records, same agency. One signature on one form changed her financial life. Scenario 2. A widower in Pennsylvania named Walter, age 61, retired steam fitter from a union shop outside Pittsburgh. His wife Doris was a school administrator who had earned more than he had for the last 15 years of her career. She passed away from cancer at 59 before she had ever filed for her own benefits. Walter's own benefit at full retirement age would be $2,200 a month. The survivor benefit on Doris's record at his full retirement age would be $2,800 a month. Walter heard from a friend at the union hall that he could file for the survivor benefit early at age 60. He went down to the field office on his 60th birthday and filed. He took a permanently reduced survivor check of roughly $2,020 a month. Now, here is what Walter did not realize. Because his own benefit was lower than the full survivor benefit, taking the early reduced survivor benefit was actually the wrong move. The smarter play was to take his own reduced worker benefit at 62, let the survivor benefit keep growing to its full amount of $2,800 at his full retirement age, and switch at 66. Walter locked in a permanent reduction on the bigger of the two checks. He left roughly $780 a month on the table for the rest of his life. Over 20 years, that is $187,000 he will never see. Scenario 3. A woman in Florida named Carol, disabled widow, age 52. Her husband Ray died of a stroke at 58. Carol has her own work history, but she is also disabled and receives Social Security disability insurance on her own record at roughly $1,300 a month. Here is what almost nobody knows about disabled widows. The Social Security Administration allows a disabled widow or widower to file for the survivor benefit as early as age 50, not 60. Read that again, age 50. The disability had to begin before or within 7 years of the spouse's death and must meet the agency's strict definition. But if it does, that widow gets 10 extra years of access to the survivor check. For Carol, the disabled widow benefit at age 52 is roughly $1,450 a month, and that benefit can run until her full retirement age, at which point she can choose to switch to her own retirement benefit if it is higher. Most disabled widows in this country never apply for it because nobody at the field office mentions it, and most personal injury attorneys, divorce attorneys, and even disability attorneys do not know the rule exists. Now, here is where it gets critical. There is a remarriage trap built into the survivor benefit, and it has destroyed widows and widowers who did not understand the rule. If you remarry before age 60, you lose your survivor benefit eligibility on your first spouse's record for as long as that new marriage lasts. If the new marriage ends in death or divorce or annulment, eligibility comes back, but during the marriage, the survivor benefit is gone. This rule is what catches younger widows who fall in love again at 58 or 59 and walk down the aisle without checking the rule book. Now here is the part that changes everything. If you remarry at 60 or after, the survivor benefit is preserved. The rule cuts off at age 60, not at full retirement age. So a widow who remarries at 61 keeps every penny of her late husband's survivor benefit for the rest of her life, regardless of how much her new husband earns or what his Social Security situation looks like. I have personally watched widows postpone wedding dates by 3 months, 6 months, 8 months to clear the age 60 line. Their fiancés thought they were being indecisive. They were being financially literate. The wedding planner did not need to know that a Tuesday in March instead of a Saturday in February meant $120,000 over a lifetime. But that is exactly what it meant. Scenario 4. A widow in Iowa named Margaret, age 61. Her husband Tom, a retired banker, died at 64. Margaret was about to remarry a man named Howard, whom she had known since high school. The wedding was set for 3 months before her 60th birthday. Actually, that is not right. Let me say this clearly. The wedding was originally set for 2 months before her 60th birthday. Her son sat her down at the kitchen table, told her about the rule, and Margaret moved the wedding by 10 weeks. She and Howard got married 8 days after she turned 60. Margaret kept Tom's survivor benefit. Over the rest of her life, that single decision is worth approximately $140,000. Howard never knew. Howard did not need to know. The wedding was beautiful. The benefit was preserved. Same widow, same fiancé, same vows, 1 calendar adjustment. Here is your action checklist, and I need you to take this seriously because the field office is not going to walk you through any of this. Number 1, if you are a widow or widower of any age, request a benefits estimate from the Social Security Administration on both your own record and your deceased spouse's record. You can do this at ssa.gov by creating a My Social Security account, or you can call 800-7721-213 and ask for a manual statement. Get both numbers in writing before you make any filing decision. Number 2, do the math on every possible filing strategy. The 4 main scenarios are: take your own benefit early and switch to survivor at full retirement age. Take your own benefit early and switch to survivor at 70. Take the survivor benefit early and switch to your own benefit at full retirement age. Take the survivor benefit early and switch to your own benefit at 70. Run all 4. The right answer depends on which benefit is larger and on your health and on your other income sources. Number 3, if you are disabled and widowed, apply for the Disabled Widow or Widower benefit. The form is the same Social Security application, Form SSA-1-4. You will need medical documentation. The earliest filing age is 50. Number 4, if you remarried before age 60 and your new marriage has ended in death, divorce, or annulment, file an application to reinstate your survivor benefit on your first spouse's record. The agency does not do this automatically. You have to ask. Number 5, if you are a widow or widower planning to remarry and you are within 12 months of your 60th birthday, talk to a Social Security claiming specialist before you set the wedding date. Not a financial advisor, not a tax preparer, a specialist who works in this corner of the rule book. Number 6, if your deceased spouse was receiving benefits at the time of death, you may be entitled to a one-time lump sum death payment of $255. This is small, but it is yours, and you have to apply within 2 years of the death. Number 7, if you are a divorced widow, meaning you were divorced from a spouse who later died, you may still be entitled to a survivor benefit on that ex-spouse's record if your marriage to them lasted at least 10 years. Most divorced widows do not know they qualify. Check. Same widow, same earnings records, same agency. Eleanor walked out of that field office in Georgia with $1,540 a month and a $185,000 gap she will never close. Walter in Pennsylvania locked in a permanent reduction on the bigger of his 2 checks and lost $187,000 over 20 years. Margaret in Iowa moved her wedding by 10 weeks and preserved $140,000. The difference between these outcomes is not luck. It is not a loophole. It is the deemed filing rule of the Social Security Act. which has explicitly carved out survivor benefits from the deemed filing requirement since the rule was written. It is one of the few places in the Federal Benefits Code where the government quietly leaves a door open for the surviving spouse, and almost nobody walks through it because almost nobody knows it is there. This is how people die broke, not from a stock market crash. From one signature on one form they did not understand. This is Paul Merrick, and this has been Don't Die Broke. If this video helped you, hit the like button right now. It takes 1 second and it helps this video reach more retirees who need to hear it. If you are not subscribed yet, hit subscribe and turn on the bell so you do not miss the next one. If you know a widow or widower who is about to file for Social Security or who remarried young and never thought to check the rule, send them this video today. It could be worth 6 figures to their family. And drop me a comment and tell me this. Did anyone at the Social Security office or any financial advisor ever explain to you that survivor benefits and your own benefits could be claimed at different ages? Yes or no? I read every single one, and the most common questions become future videos. I will see you in the next.